often do I email my subscriber list? And this question comes about because when we look at statistics, about 69% of users actually say that they receive too many emails, and that's the reason why they unsubscribe from those emails. 69%. So almost 70% of people say I unsubscribe because you're sending me too many emails.
Yeah.
However, on that point, we want to be cognizant and be aware of what's the average that marketers, so people like you and I, small business owners, what's the average that we actually send out information? So again, based on Direct Marketing Association's National Email Client Report, and this is from last year, 35% of marketers send emails 2 to 3 times a month. That's 35%.
Okay.
9% send 6 to 8 emails a month. That's a lot, but
That's
9%, and it's a difference. And then 19% will send just 1 email per month. So that's what's happening on the business side when you look at what's the industry standards overall for businesses and marketers. How often do they send out emails? So again, 35% of marketers send them 2 to 3 times a month. 9% send 6 to 8 emails per month, and then 19% send about 1 email a month.
And this also happens to us as a brand,
Yes.
where we always ask ourselves, how many is too many? At what point am I, as a consumer of Adrian J. Media's services, are you sending me too many emails?
Yes.
I think I'm at the 35%.
You're at the 35% that say 2 to 3
35%.
times a month.
I'll subscribe you very quickly.
You can unsubscribe.
Yeah. Now, depending on what your goal is to get me, if you're reminding me about something that I am interested in, so I might be okay with that. But for the most part, it's like, oh no, I already have a lot of, spam or whatever. So at what point does it become too much and you're like, but those are some good, it's very varied. From 35 to 19 to 9.
To 9, yes.
That's big gaps.
But you bring up a good point. So Diana is speaking as a marketer, right?
Right.
This is something that she does for a living, but she's also speaking from the consumer perspective.
Yeah.
So we know and we've discussed what the industry standards are for marketers, but when we look at customers, that's really what matters, right? So what do our customers think about the frequency in which you're sending emails? So of course we have some stats for that.
Right.
So when we look at the customer perspective, 61% of email receivers actually prefer receiving promotional emails, right, where you're promoting your event, your service, your product at least once a month. So again, that's 61% look forward to receiving or prefer to receive a promotional email about once a month.
Okay.
Now, 15% of people say they wouldn't mind receiving promotional material every day. 15%, right?
That's a lot.
That's a large percentage, more than what you would think as a marketer. But as a consumer, 15% of customers say they wouldn't mind receiving promotional material.
Okay, but that's
or email
assuming
every day.
That's assuming it's from your one favorite store. What if you're receiving from multiple stores?
Yes. Okay, so we'll get into that. That's a good question. Okay, so 91% say they have no issues whatsoever with receiving promotional emails.
Because they don't check the email.
Because, well, I don't know. But 91% based on this email report say that they have no problems receiving promotional emails. Okay, so back to the that we just said.
Yeah.
If 91% of people say they have no problem receiving emails, but then 69% of people say, "Ooh, I'm unsubscribing because you're sending me too many emails."
Yeah.
What's the in between this? What's the variation between these two percentages? Right? Why is there such a huge drop off or such a disparity, right?
Yeah.
And that comes into the emails not being targeted. So to answer the question, how often should I send out emails to my customers? There is no direct answer. It is solely based on your audience and your customers' interest. Now, if we back into the statistics that we just read about, and I'll repeat them again, 35% of marketers send 2 to 3 emails a month, 9% send 6 to 8 emails a month, and then 19% send 1 email a month. If you go and average those out, then you would say, okay, it's safe possibly to send 1 email per week.
Okay.
However, again, we want to make our frequency determinations based on what our customers are interested in.
Right.
So what's the most important thing to them? What you are selling. So if you are an air conditioning repair company, it probably doesn't make sense for you to send 1 email per week in December. Right? That doesn't make sense. However, it may be more applicable in the summer months for you to 1 email per week, 2 to 3 emails per week, whatever your customer preferences are, because they're looking for information, deals, so on and so forth. So be aware and be mindful of seasonality, occasions in regards to when you're selling peak products and what makes more sense for what you're selling, be that a product or a service. The second thing is what's the industry standard. But look at your competitors and not look at them as in try to copy their strategy, because we don't want to do that. But look at them and see, okay, well, how frequently are they sending emails? But definitely keep top of mind that their strategy may be different from yours, their goals may be different from yours, but doing a little bit of market research in regards to competitors will help you come up with a frequency that may work better for your industry specifically. Then when we look at number 3, in regards to how can you determine what's the best for your customers in regards to email frequency, you want to try to hone in on what your customers' interests or preferences are, and you do that by A/B testing. And that may be something new to you guys. We actually do that in-house when it comes to our email marketing. So A/B testing means that you go out and you test an email and you leave 1 or 2 things constant, but then you change something. So you leave for instance, you may leave the content the same within the email, but you change out the time of day that you send it, or you change out the email subject, or the time of day that you send the email and the subject is the same, but you fluctuate the content within the email to see what's more what's more of interest to your customers, and by that you're able to then hone in on what your customers' preferences are and determine, okay, how frequent should I be sending these emails? And then the last thing, I know these are a lot of points, but the last thing is, and this is honestly the most important thing, is your email providing value? Always look to provide value to your customers and provide value in any form of communication, whether that's social, whether that's through advertising, but it's really important to provide value via email, because then that can also determine if you can send more emails, because obviously we have 15% of people who say they wouldn't mind receiving an email every day. And I promise you those 15% are people who have signed on to lists from their favorite brands, and then also brands who provide value via email on a very consistent basis. Hope that was helpful for you guys. The bottom line, the answer, there is no
right or wrong.
Exactly. In regards to your email frequency, it really depends on what kind of value you're providing and what your customers are.
And know your audience.